Aren't you a little short for a stormtrooper?
What's up, nerds? Welcome to another episode of the Multiverse Report. We are recapping the week's nerdy news from Takkodanna to Fogwell's gym and everywhere in between. My name is Mike Gibson. With me, as always, is Steve Haller. What is up, Steve?
Well, if you watched House of the Dragon like we just did, go back and check out our recap because we just talked for about half an hour on a really good episode of television, and that's about all I've got going on right now.
Yeah, check that out. We haven't been doing every episode of House of the Dragon because it makes us have to stay up a lot later than we normally like to do when we're doing this episode or doing this podcast. But we did one this week, so check that out. Will we do one next week? Who knows? Because this coming Wednesday is the premiere of highly anticipated Andor, Star Wars Andor show on Disney Plus, and I think both Steve and I really want to talk about that. So I don't know if we'll have time to talk about Andor and House of the Dragon and Lord of the Rings. This is kind of we're running into like crunch time of content. Also, Andor's like, isn't it a 3-episode premiere? Like 3 episodes are dropping at once. So that's going to be a lot to talk about.
3 episodes are dropping on the night we're at They Might Be Giants, so we can't even watch them that night.
So we can't even do it that night. Yeah, so we got, So who knows? So can't tell if there will be another House of the Dragon recap next week, but there's one for this week, so you can go listen to that right now if you would like. I don't think there's anything else that I have at the top to talk about, so we might as well jump right in to our lead story. We're going to start off with Marvel. We've been starting off with DC lately just because Warner Brothers Discovery is, on fire. But we're switching things up.
You mean NBC Universal Warner Brothers Discovery?
My God. Oh, we'll talk about that when we get to Warner.
Oh, did we have that on the rundown? I didn't see.
No, we don't. We don't have it on the rundown, but I'm sure it'll come up.
Yeah.
As it just did. Okay, Marvel. Jeff Loveness. Household name, right? Everyone knows who that guy is. Nope. Jeff Loveness has been hired to write Avengers Kang Dynasty. This is the next Avengers movie that we know of. It's part of Phase 6, I believe. The Avengers movies are both part of Phase 6. That's what they announced, Jeff Loveness writing Avengers Kang Dynasty. Loveness, he hasn't written a ton. He's written on like variety shows and things like that. He's also written episodes of Rick and Morty. But most notably, as it relates to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, he has recently written Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. So in that regard, it makes sense that he would write Avengers Kang Dynasty, since it's been said that seemingly the next big bad, Kang the Conqueror, will, hence the name Kang Dynasty, Avengers Kang Dynasty. Kang the Conqueror, although we did see a variant of him in the Loki show, Kang the Conqueror proper will be introduced in Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, so it makes sense that the person that wrote that movie would write the subsequent Avengers movie, assumedly starring the title character of Kang the Conqueror.
That would make sense.
Yeah, Avengers Kang Dynasty was going to be directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, who also directed Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings, and is scheduled to be released on May 2nd, 2025. Steve, what do we think about Jeff Loveness being the new Avengers scribe?
I think as long as they've got somebody on it, that's a good thing. Like everything else we've seen recently has been pushing off everything that they had announced, or altering who had written what, or how it's being written, or who's cast or who's not cast, or any of that. It's good that it has come out and from deadline, so it's not a flash in the pan of them actually assigning a writer to this.
But it does seem a little like, now that I'm thinking about it.
Yep.
We're close to we're in, end of summer, early fall 2022. 2023 is right around the corner. This movie comes out in early May 2025.
Yep.
They have to, I guess we don't know when this guy was hired. They just announced that he's writing it. He could have been writing it for a while. But say that they just hired this guy. He's
yeah.
he has to write, and they have to film and edit an entire movie into like an Avengers movie.
Right.
That's a big deal. That seems like a small amount of time to both write, pre-production, production, post-production, marketing, release. That seems like a short amount of time. So hopefully he's been writing it for a while. That's what I would say. But I feel like I'm interested. It makes me more interested to see Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania, to be honest with you.
Right,
As
just to
someone
see what
that-
we're in for type thing.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm somebody that I like the first Ant-Man movie. I don't know if this is a hot take or not. I really don't like Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think that is like a misfire for me. Like that movie
Oh, yeah?
just doesn't work. Yeah, it just doesn't work for me. I've watched it several times and it doesn't work for me. I don't know.
I thought it had some good, some bad, some, okay.
Yeah,
Like,
I
it
mean,
wasn't-
there's a couple laughs, but like it doesn't. Yeah, I can't get
Yeah.
into it, or it'll be a whole rabbit hole. But
It wasn't Thor: The Dark World, but what
true.
is?
Yeah. So I'm excited for a new Ant-Man, but two, they trusted him so much. They liked what he did so much with Ant-Man that they're giving him an Avengers movie. That speaks volumes, I think, to the quality of his writing and the quality of work that he did on Quantumania, right?
You would think so.
They're not going to give him an Avengers movie otherwise. But I'm also very interested just because the last two Avengers movies, well, the first two Avengers movies were written by a talented writer yet horrible monster, Joss Whedon. The second two Avengers movies were written by writing pair.
Russo brothers, right? Oh, no,
No, they
directed by the Russo
directed it. It
brothers.
was written by Christopher Marcus and Stephen McFeely, who wrote all
yep.
three. They wrote all three Captain America movies.
Yep.
They did a little writing on Thor: The Dark World. I think they did like reshoots on Thor: The Dark World, and they wrote Avengers: Infinity War and Avengers: Endgame. So like, those are people that were really immersed in the world. I mean, like, besides the Iron Man movies, the Captain America movies are probably the most important MCU movies outside of Avengers movies. Maybe it's a statement that I'm just making off the top of my head, but I feel like it's true. I feel like that holds water.
Probably.
So for them to be so immersed in the world for 3 or 4 movies before they even do one Avengers movie, kind of a big deal. So I do like that he's someone that he's not coming in fresh, having never written a Marvel movie. He's
Right.
like, he knows the world, he knows the lore enough to make an Ant-Man movie. And seemingly, like, what we know about Quantumania, it's probably going to be pretty wild. It takes place in the quantum realm. It introduces this Kang character, so it's probably going to be pretty insane and have a lot going on for it. So if he can handle that, it makes sense they would trust him with an Avengers movie, I guess.
Yeah, no, and it's, I don't know. Like you said, there's the experience now that he's in Quantumania. He also, importantly, has experience writing Kang, if he's writing Quantumania.
Right. Exactly.
So I think they're onto something there. Yeah, I don't know. Marcus and McFeely, I looked them up for posterity's sake, and I forgot they also did the Chronicles of Narnia film franchise.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
So.
they're no slouches. There's
And Marcus is from Buffalo.
Oh, no way, really?
Yeah, Chris Marcus is
cool.
apparently from Buffalo.
They did after Endgame came out, they were on Kevin Smith and Mark Bernardin's podcast, Fat Man Beyond, and they talked about the whole writing process. I think they were on a couple times. I think they might have been on after Infinity War came out, but they could barely say much. And then they were on again after Endgame came out, and it's like a 2-hour episode. Like, it's a long interview. And it's really interesting to hear like the writing process of like, well, originally we were thinking this, and they just have like a huge board with like moving pieces around, like figuring out what the best thing is. So I know they really knew their shit. So, and clearly did, because Endgame was executed so well.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got a writer, we got a director, and we got a writer. And we got a good amount of time before we see anything from it. So. And it'll be a bit of
but it's deceiving, because if it's 2025, that'll be here before we know it.
Oh, for sure. That's what I mean. It seems like a short amount of time. I feel like he must have been writing for a while. Like, there's no way that they
Right.
I feel like he's probably done like a draft enough that they're like, okay, we like this enough to announce that you're actually writing it.
Yeah,
so we don't have to
definitely.
like announce that somebody else is writing it after we've said that you're writing it,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he's probably deep into it at this point, which is good. All right, moving from Marvel into the DC world, Warner Brothers Discovery. I did not think I would ever see this. There's been actually rumors of this. There's been talk of this, but I thought it had been shut down. I did not think that was going to happen. Warner Bros. Discovery is developing a sequel to the movie Constantine, starring Keanu Reeves. The sequel will star Keanu Reeves. He is set to reprise the role. And it's going to have the original director, I believe, Francis Lawrence. The original
okay.
Constantine was Francis Lawrence's first feature film. He went on to make the Hunger Games movies and assorted other things. So certainly no slouch of a filmmaker. Coming back to do a Constantine movie. And I feel like I have heard Keanu Reeves in interviews talk about how much he loves this movie and would love to make another one. And I think he was on like the Late Show with Stephen Colbert once a year ago or so, and Stephen Colbert asked him about Constantine, a sequel to Constantine, and he said, I've tried so hard to get a sequel to Constantine. I don't think it's going to happen, but I would love to do it. I tried so hard, and I don't think it's going to happen. This was like a year ago. So after I heard Keanu Reeves say, I tried so hard and it's not going to happen, I was like, okay, well, they're not going to do this.
Right. If you're not greenlighting it for Keanu Reeves, who,
right?
If he's in a movie, it's going to print money.
Yeah, for sure. So if you're unfamiliar with the original Constantine movie, it came out in 2005. And now they're announcing the development of a sequel 17 years later. That's a long time, I gotta say. Steve, can you think, I thought this would be fun, putting you on the spot. Can you think of any other movie, not a franchise, but a movie, a singular film that came out that got a sequel that much later, 17 years later?
Willow doesn't count because it's a TV show.
Correct. Star Wars doesn't count because it's
a
franchise. Yeah.
So like movie to movie sequel.
I've got a whole list, just so you know.
Huh.
Wondering if you can think of any of them.
I guarantee it's ones that I will kick myself after seeing some of them, but no, fire away.
Finding Nemo to Finding Dory.
That was how long?
13 years between Finding Nemo and Finding Dory.
Okay.
Similarly, staying in the Pixar world, Incredibles to Incredibles 2, 14 years.
Why did they wait that long?
I don't know. But I'm glad they did because Incredibles 2 is awesome.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like if they had rushed it, it wouldn't have been as good. But Incredibles 2 is a worthy sequel to The Incredibles, which is also...
It would be Toy Story 3 instead of Toy Story 4.
Are you shitting on Toy Story 3 to me right now? Toy Story 3
is it that or which ones?
I don't know.
There was one of the first three that was less good than the others. Was that 2?
Well, I mean, to each their own. You and I, a friend of the podcast, Matt Paseda, loves Toy Story 2. Yeah. I got to say, it's my least favorite of the Toy Story franchise.
Knowing our taste, that's probably the one that I'm probably with you on that.
Yeah.
It's, again, been 20 years since I've seen them, so I haven't... Right. My 5-year-old hasn't latched onto those yet, so...
Sure. You're getting
It's coming, I'm sure.
Bad Boys 2 and Bad Boys 3, 17 years between those sequels.
Okay.
But I guess that's a franchise, though, so that doesn't really count.
Yeah, once you hit the 3.
That's a 2 and a 3.
Yep.
Coming to America and Coming to America 2, 33 years in between those movies. Top Gun and one of the
Maverick,
highest grossing domestic films of all time, Top Gun Maverick, 36 years.
Have you seen that yet?
I have not, and it's killing me.
I haven't either, and I keep wanting to. Yeah.
There were a couple times when I almost went to see it in the theater, and I ended up not being able to for some reason, and now I feel like I don't even know if it's still playing. I should check it. If it's still playing, I should go see it in the theater, but if it's not, then I feel like I'm just going to rent it and watch it.
Right.
But I'm dying to see that movie because everyone says it's so good. The Crown, the wearer of the crown of original to sequel, apparently, something that I never would have guessed, and you never would either. Bambi and Bambi 2, 64
Really?
years.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Bambi 2 came out in 2006, where I believe the first Bambi came out in 1942, according to this article.
Well then.
So Constantine joining the ranks of those sequels that have taken very long to in between. But a welcome one. As I may have even talked about it on this podcast before. I really like the movie. Constantine, I think, it's a really great movie. If you haven't seen it, it's actually very good. It's especially good if you're not familiar with the mannerisms and characterization of John Constantine in the books. I don't think Keanu Reeves is a great actor. I like him in general. He's not a great John Constantine as Constantine is in the comic books.
Right.
This version of him is a very different version of the character, mannerisms, attitudes, just wildly different. So if you go into this movie expecting the John Constantine that you read in Hellblazer and Swamp Thing and whatever, blah, 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 it's not going to be for you. But if you can separate a little bit and be like, okay, this is like a different take or whatever, the movie itself is really good. Rachel Weisz is in it as well. Yep. It's a really very watchable movie. And honestly, if someone else was playing Constantine in it, if they hired like a swaggery British guy, then it would be a perfect John Constantine movie. But it's really only Keanu Reeves that is miscast as the character. But regardless of that, I'm happy to see a sequel to this movie because I like the first one.
Yeah.
So like when this was announced earlier in the week, that raised a lot of questions because as it was announced over a year ago at this point, J.J. Abrams had been developing a Constantine series for HBO Max and also a Madame Xanadu series. Madame Xanadu is like a sorceress, kind of fortune teller, teams up with Constantine a lot, or they like kind of run in the same magic circles. And a lot of people thought, oh, if Keanu Reeves is coming back, then that show is probably dead at HBO Max. Turns out that is correct. It came out the same day or a day later. It was confirmed by, I think it was Variety or something, confirmed that HBO Max is not moving forward with the J.J. Abrams produced Constantine show, nor with the Madame Xanadu show. However, just similar insaneness to the Warner Brothers Discovery stuff, J.J. Abrams is shopping those two shows around to other networks. So
what was the other? Oh, the Batman.
The Batman Cape Crusader animated series. Yep.
I was like, what? How do you do that?
Yep. I don't know. They're just letting money get away. I can see.
Didn't they see Marvel make all these same mistakes in the 90s when they got rid of, like, when they shopped Spider-Man and the X-Men and the Fantastic Four and everyone around?
I think the previous leadership of DC Films did see that and was learning and like, we're going to keep all this in-house. It's going to be our own thing. And now this new guy, Zaslav, doesn't give a shit about that. And just he wants money.
So like I said before,
he thinks he can make more money selling the shows off to other networks than producing them himself.
So Zaslav literally is DC's Ike Perlmutter.
Yes, dude.
Like,
yes.
I know I said that a couple months back on the pod, but it's like, it really is that. The more this keeps coming up, and history is repeating itself from 20 years ago. Yeah.
So, and like what you just mentioned earlier, there's a rumor this week that Warner Brothers Discovery could possibly merge with NBC Universal. Holy shit.
Because you need another reshuffling.
Like, I feel like the merger between Discovery and Warner Brothers, or no, the AT&T Warner Brothers acquisition almost didn't go through.
Right.
Because that was like, this is like 4 giant companies now would be merging: Warner Brothers, Discovery, NBC, and Universal. Like, that's just a clusterfuck of IP at that point. Like, I feel like you're just diminishing the value of all the IP you have if you just keep smushing it together. Like,
everybody's trying to be the mouse. Everybody's trying to be the mouse.
But you can be like Warner Brothers. You can be the mouse if you just like focus on the characters you have and like treat them well and put them out there. Like, make good shit. You can do that.
Please just suck less and you'd be fine.
Yeah. Yes. Like, Warner Brothers, I think Warner Brothers is one of the only studios that can go up against Disney, or could before it was sold to a guy that doesn't know what to do with it.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to go down that rabbit hole. But anyway,
No, if you want to see the continuation of this rant, go back to any of our last 5 where Mike and I have just gone off on
Yeah.
this. So
yeah.
it's definitely happened in the past.
Yeah. I mean, it would have made more sense to me if they just canceled the Constantine show, because they're like, oh, Keanu Reeves is coming back as Constantine. He's going to be our Constantine. We don't want to like muddy the waters of whatever.
Right. The
so
shopping
he's
around is the weird part.
I could totally see of it being like, okay, JJ, we're going to put your show on hold because it's possible that Keanu might want to do another movie. And if he comes back, we're not going to do the show. Like, so, okay, he's back, so the show's canceled. But he's back, and they're just letting the show go somewhere else. So
Right.
I'm excited that I get another Constantine movie and a possible Constantine series at Netflix or whatever. But
Oh yeah, because
who knows?
Netflix is going to snap some stuff up with the Marvel stuff going away.
Yeah, and they already have Sandman, which, by the way, can you announce a season 2 of Sandman already? Please, Netflix.
Yeah, that'd be
come on.
great.
We all
Didn't-
loved it.
Didn't that actually win some award recently?
Oh, did it? I don't know.
I thought so. I might be going
Yeah.
crazy. It might have just been in
I
my
don't know.
head that it won awards because it was that good.
Like, I get that it's an expensive show, but make it happen, Netflix. Like, you have a hit. You have a hit that people want more of. Announce season 2.
Yeah.
And you know what? Then buy JJ's John Constantine show, and then have some weird thing where John Constantine meets Joanna Constantine, and they like go on adventures together. I would love to watch that. That'd be amazing. Make that happen. They also own Lucifer. Didn't they do the last season of Lucifer? That was like a Fox show, but then Netflix bought Lucifer, which is
Oh, they
technically
might
the
have,
same
yeah.
character that from Sandman, the same Lucifer. That's the same character. Interesting. Let's do oh man. Can you imagine if if Netflix is able to like acquire these shows and make their own like weird multiverse, just like DC Magic Dream Realm multiverse series? That'd be incredible.
Yeah, it would be. Also,
do that.
yesterday, for the record, yesterday Neil Gaiman stated on the Twitters that we don't have a season 2, but the scripts have been written and the VFX department has been working on it. Read the interview. Apparently,
Wow.
he did some
Okay.
interview with something. So
Well, damn. Netflix, come on. We're all waiting on you. Drop the money. Spend the money. Spend the money. I'll watch it. I promise you.
Oh, that's what it was. It was the top of the Nielsen streaming top 10 charts for August 15th. So right after
it's been like
after
it's
it
like
dropped.
it's the #1 show in like many countries.
Yeah.
But I feel like, again, Neil Gaiman said on Twitter, because it's so expensive, you know, that's the one thing that's holding it back, that it's a very expensive show to make. But
Yep.
I don't know, man. Just figure it out.
Minor details.
Make it happen. Minor details. All right, moving to a galaxy far, far away, we have a couple small-ish Star Wars stories, but we just wanted to mention them because we like talking about Star Wars, and it's a good lead into how excited we are for Andor coming up. We got some news on the Acolyte. We got some new casting confirmations for Disney Plus series The Acolyte. Charlie Barnett from Russian Doll, and Manny Jacinto from The Good Place and Top Gun Maverick, and also Lee Jung-jae from Squid Game have all been cast in The Acolyte for Disney Plus. A show about a young-ish Sith being trained, I think is what we kind of think it is. Being written by the showrunner for Russian Doll, so it makes sense that Charlie Barnett from Russian Doll would be cast, I guess. Going for who she knows, who she's worked with before.
Yeah, no,
we don't
we
know.
don't really have anything on it outside of that it's set in the High Republic and towards the absolute tail end of what was considered
End
the
of
High Republic. So.
Yeah. But I don't know, it's always good to know that they're moving forward. They're casting. It's working. It's not slowing down.
Yeah.
I only know Manny Jacinto from The Good Place, in which he played a complete idiot.
Oh, did he play
It's very
the
funny.
Jacksonville guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now I know who he is.
So I'll be excited to see him. And again, we haven't seen Top Gun Maverick. I guess he had a small part in that, but excited to see him play something other than a complete moron.
Jason Mendoza. That's
Jason.
who it was.
That's what it was. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That show was great. Watch The Good Place. If you haven't seen
Yeah.
The Good Place, it's really funny and great and heartwarming. And the finale made me cry like a baby. It's so good. So watch that show. Also in Star Wars news, Rogue Squadron has finally officially been removed from the release schedule. This is not really a surprise. I feel like some people are saying like this means it's not happening. We still don't know if it's happening. Like it got
Right.
delayed a year ago. It got delayed ish, like last fall. But they
Yeah,
just
there
never
was
moved
all
it
the
in the
talk with
calendar.
Patty Jenkins, and that she was pushing it based on other commitments, and she
Yeah.
still wanted to make the movie. And I think Kathleen Kennedy even came out and said like,
That they
we
still
we
wanted to
want to
make
make
it,
it. We want to make it with Patty, and we want to make sure it works in her schedule and that sort of stuff. So
Yeah. I mean, it was supposed to come out December 22nd, 2023. It was insane that they didn't immediately remove it from the calendar when they announced that it was delayed, because there's no chance that
right.
you're going to start today and make a Star Wars movie ready. I mean, I guess they've done that before. They've made a Star Wars movie in a year, right? Didn't they fire Colin Trevorrow and rehire J.J. Abrams, and then the movie came out a year later for Rise of Skywalker?
Well, and we've seen how well that worked.
Exactly. So it's possible.
Is it
but
a good
doesn't
idea?
necessarily
Probably
yield
not.
the greatest results. Yeah, exactly. So I mean, it's off the schedule, but I don't think this is I don't think this is the last nail in the coffin. I think it's still very possible that it will get made. I want it to get made. I would really love to see this movie based on what Patty Jenkins has said about it and how she was very passionate about making it. And
Yep.
like, why not? Why not make this movie? I don't know.
No.
I don't know. But also, this is like a little bit tangent. That's not specifically on the rundown. But Steve, I don't know if you've seen any of the first reactions to people that have seen the first few episodes of Andor. But what I have seen has been incredibly positive. People saying that it's great. It's very much a no Jedi, no lightsaber. It's like boots on the ground. Exactly what the basically exactly what the trailers make it look like, a political thriller, very anti-fascism kind of plots and things like that.
Born Identity in Star Wars.
Yeah,
Tony Gilroy being Tony Gilroy.
Yep, like lifting up Rogue One the way Rogue One lifts up A New Hope, like that kind of stuff. Like,
yep.
I've just seen a lot of great, like, critics or stuff that I follow that have got advanced screeners of it, saying that it's really great.
Found out my wife hasn't watched Rogue One.
Whoa.
I don't know how I failed in that.
There you go.
Now that means I get to rewatch Rogue One.
You get to watch it this week. Because Andor, the first 3 episodes of Andor come out this Wednesday, September 21st. Steve and I will be at a They Might Be Giant show in Ithaca, New York, so we will not be able to watch it, but I'm sure we'll get to it, and we'll be talking about it next week. I hope. I'm dying to talk about it. I'm dying to watch it. I can't wait.
Yeah, no, it's it's the definition of the show I didn't know I needed, and now that I see it, I'm like, I need more of this.
I mean, the trailers just look so much better than any other Disney Plus Star Wars show. That was like, they just look so good. They look so good. I can't wait.
Well, and the ability without like, I guess without the crazy need of like Mando to planet jump and do all this other stuff, or like crazy lightsaber battles or any of that, you can even work more practical effects into it and more like on the ground, like gritty feel to it. And it seems from the trailer that's what we're gonna get, which I'm 100% in for.
100% in for. All right, moving on into comics. This December 28th, would have been Stan Lee's 100th birthday. Wow. 100th birthday. Coming up this year. This week, guess which comic book company announced a tribute for Stan Lee's 100th birthday?
Yeah, you would have expected that
listeners at home, take a second and guess. Say it out loud. You're wrong.
Yeah.
DC has announced a tribute to Stan Lee's 100th birthday. It's reviving a universe they refer to as the Just Imagine universe. Celebrate Stan Lee's 100th birthday. The original concept of the Just Imagine universe was, I want to say, in like the early 2000s or something. I don't remember the exact date. I didn't write it down. But it was an idea. It was a series of books written by Stan Lee and Michael Ulson. It was illustrated by a bunch of various artists. The idea was like a what if style reimagining of the DC universe if it had been created by Stan Lee. So very much in style with, like he writes things about like this person got bit by this animal and gained their powers. It's that kind of thing. Like I think Batman, got somehow infused with actual bat DNA and has actual
Right.
bat powers, or like his version of the Flash got like bitten by a weird hummingbird and now can move really fast, like that kind of stuff. So it's like a little like, kind of
Marvelifying
janky,
it, yeah.
Marvelifying, yeah, the characters. But he recreated, basically rewrote all the Justice League character origin stories, and it was not hugely popular at the time. But they're reviving it. They're doing something called Tales from Earth 6, a celebration of Stan Lee. It's a 96-page prestige format book featuring the writing and illustrations of Mark Waid, Jerry Ordway, Stephanie Williams, Becky Cloonan, Colin Kelly and Jackson Lansing, Steve Orlando, Lee Weeks, Kevin McGuire, Juan Ferreira, Belen Ortega, and more. Comes out December 27th, which is one day for Stan Lee's 100th birthday. So that is some really good planning, I think, on DC's part. Steve, do you think we'll hear anything about from Marvel on celebrating Stan Lee's 100th birthday?
I'm sure they'll have something. I don't know whether it'll be a standalone issue or something in each, it might just be the cover page they seem to do for everybody as a memoriam, or I don't know. You'd think they'd have something for the centennial of, one of your big guns.
Seems wild that they wouldn't do anything.
Yeah,
for
yeah,
it at
no.
all. And it's
especially if DC drops something.
It's pretty wild that DC dropped this announcement before we heard anything from Marvel. I feel like they were like, put it out, get it out. We got to like scoop these guys.
Yeah, it was probably, it had to have been someone up in the office like, oh, they haven't said anything. Oh, we can get this out there. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I saw someone online say that I Marvel didn't do anything for Jack Kirby's 100th birthday or something like that. Like again, it was
now
just
that you say that, I don't remember.
Yeah. I don't know that DC did. Maybe DC did, because he invented the whole Fourth World New Gods thing for DC. So I don't know. Maybe they did. We have to look into that. But that
would have been 2017. So I kind of don't remember that far away.
Marvel is by all intents and purposes the house that Stan Lee built.
Right.
The house that Stan Lee, Jack Kirby, and Steve Ditko built. But to not do anything for his 100th birthday would be insane. So hopefully we're going to get something from Marvel soon. It would be hilarious if they are right now scrambling to get something together.
Yeah.
Because DC said something and be like, oh, who's available? What can we throw together real quick? That'd be great. So anyway, I'm excited for that to come out. That'd be cool. Even though I'm not super familiar and I didn't read the first universe, because like I said, it wasn't super popular. Like, I'd rather just read the real versions of those characters that I love. But cool that he dipped his toe into the DC universe at all. Pretty cool. This week in your local comic book shops, we got Avengers number 60, Batman One Bad Day, Two-Face number 1. After how amazing I thought One Bad Day Riddler was, I'm very excited about One Bad Day Two-Face, although it is a different creative team.
I'm looking at it right now. Still haven't read it.
You haven't read it? Oh, dude, it's great. Very good.
Nice.
Batman Superman World's Finest number 7, Black Adam number 4, Bloodshot Unleashed number 1, Carnage number 6, Creepshow number 1, Deceased War of the Undead Gods number 2, Edge of the Spider-Verse number 4, Elvira in Horrorland number 4, Fables number 155, Harley Quinn 30th Anniversary Special number 1. Tons of variants for that cover that I think all look amazing. New Mutants number 30, Nightwing number 96, Shirtless Bear Fighter number 2. I'm sorry that I missed number 1 of a book called Shirtless Bear Fighter, I gotta say. Star Wars Hyperspace Stories number 2, Star Wars Darth Vader number 27, Stuff of Nightmares number 1, Vanish number 1, X-Men Legends number 1, Young Hellboy, Assault on Castle Death number 2. What a badass name for a book that is.
I was
Young
gonna say
Hellboy.
people naming castles need to like get a little more creative than
Yeah.
Castle Death.
Yeah. It's still pretty cool though.
I mean,
But
to be fair, we have like Doctor Doom.
yeah.
Like, yes,
Little
I
on
get
the
his name
nose.
is Victor Von Doom, but like, come on, guys, like,
Yeah.
get a little more creative.
Yeah. That's that early 60s Marvel
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
that we were just
yeah.
talking about, kitschy kind
Oh,
of stuff.
this guy that turns into a beast. What do we name him? Oh, Beast. Oh, the guy with wings like an angel. What do we name him?
Yeah.
Like, come on, guys. Come on.
The guy that turns into ice. What do we name him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Intrigued by Stuff of Nightmares is R.L. Stine, isn't it?
Yes, I think that is his first. I don't think it's for kids necessarily. I think it's like a actual horror book. Yeah, I'm excited about it.
And then
Yeah,
Vanish
that's
is Cates and Stegman.
Oh, really?
Who had that wonderful run on Venom.
Oh, awesome.
So
Cool. I didn't realize that.
Yep, that's
Awesome.
their indie that they put together.
Cool.
Actually, I gotta see if they. I don't even know if they can pull that. Yeah, we'll figure that out. I might have a call
Alright.
going into Jesse down at Funky Town.
Yeah, do it. I gotta stop in there. I haven't got my pull box for the last couple weeks.
The Wednesday thing, still bugging.
I know. Yeah, I hope that they
Get out of the funk.
get out of adjust their hours
Yeah,
soon. Hopefully, we'll be hearing about that sooner than later.
absolutely.
I gotta say, I'll take this opportunity to say that this episode of our podcast is the last episode before the cutoff date to order from the Static, a horror anthology from Band of Bards Comics, in which I have written a 6-page horror story called Post-Traumatic Credit Scene. You can ask for it at your local comic book shop. You can ask them to order it for you. This is something that's only available in stores. It's not on Kickstarter or anything. I won't be able to give you personalized copies of it. So call your local comic book store, call Funky Town Comics, call Comic Zone, call Play the Game, Read the Story. These are the ones just in Syracuse. Call them or stop in and ask them to order it. It's pre-order from the Static is the name of the book, from the publisher Band of Bards. And you will be able to read, I think, 16 really great stories, horror stories from different creators, independent creators. I'm just one of them. And I don't know, it's shaping up to be a really great book. The things I've seen from it look really great, look really cool. All the stories seem really great. And Band of Bards alone as a publisher, they're doing some really cool stuff. And hopefully we'll have one or both of those guys on this podcast one day to kind of talk about those things. But anyway, the cutoff is September 22nd. So we're recording this on September 18th. You have a few more days left to pre-order this book. So please call your local shop, pre-order it, and then read it and tell me what you thought of my story. I would love it. I'm very excited to be a published, not just self-published comic book author, but an actual published comic book author.
There you go.
So yeah. And speaking of self-published comic book author, I now have all the printed versions of the Amazing Shakes book number 1 in my possession. I'm going to start boxing them up and sending them out this week. So if you are a contributor or a backer to the Amazing Shakes, you should have your book sooner rather than later. I'm saying it right now to make myself do it. I just got them the other day. But also, luckily for the people that have backed it, the books happen to show up right in time for my artist, Riley McFarland, to visit me and hang out with me in person. And guess what? We spent about 2 hours signing almost every book that we have. So you're all getting autographed copies instead of just regular non-autographed copies. So
Nice.
lucky you. Lucky you. Aren't you glad it took this long? Now you get a signature.
There
2
you go.
signatures. So those should hopefully be coming out or start to be going out this week. Can't imagine that I'll get all of them out this week, but the process has begun. So that's all the comic book updates on my personal comic book, my fledgling comic book writing career.
You don't need to ship mine. We can work that out.
Oh yeah, I will probably drop it in your mailbox.
I figured.
Yeah, for sure. Or give it to you Wednesday when you drive me to see They Might Be Giants.
Mm-hmm.
I'm very excited about that show.
It's gonna be really good.
I think it's gonna be great. I'm very happy.
I mean,
I'm doing the thing where like I don't. A lot of times if I'm going to see a band I'm really excited about, I will not listen to them at all for like months before. And so when I go, everything like feels like really fresh, and that's what I've been doing. I'm very excited.
I literally every time over the past like 2 weeks, I've thought to like throw on Flood.
Yeah,
and I'm like, wait, no, we're gonna hear that whole album. So
yeah,
no,
I know,
not gonna happen.
Great. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Moving on to some one shots to wrap this thing up. Starting off, this was cool. I remember that we kind of talked about that this was a possibility. This was in development maybe like a year ago or so. Who knows? But Amazon Prime has greenlit a Blade Runner series called Blade Runner 2099. Obviously, this is a sequel or takes place after the most recent Blade Runner movie, Blade Runner 2049, which I think is an absolute masterpiece. Ridley Scott himself, writer-director of the original Blade Runner, will produce the series from a script by Silka Luisa. So that's all the details that we know about it.
Yeah.
But I like Blade Runner. I love Blade Runner 2049. I think there was like a series on Who or something called Blade Runner, like Black Lotus or something, or
something I
something
vaguely
like
remember. Yeah.
Yeah. Haven't seen that. But I just hope. I feel like Blade Runner. There's a certain tone to it. There's a certain look to it, and Blade Runner 2049 looks incredible. So I hope they spend the money. I'm sure they're not the kind of money they're spending on Lord of the Rings, but I hope that they spend the money to make this a great looking and a great overall series, and I will be on board for it.
Yeah, and I'm very curious if Miguel O'Hara shows up.
I know, yeah. Wouldn't that be great? There's a crossover.
The post credits is just him looking around like, what? Okay.
What?
And speaking of Spider-Man, animated Spectacular Spider-Man series will begin to air on Disney Plus in October. Season 1 of the acclaimed series will start screaming.
Start screaming.
If you really enjoy it, you can start screaming on October 19th, along with Spider-Man, the new animated series.
Spider-Man, the new animated series, wasn't that the one that was like on MTV and like had like weird early computer animation? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure Spider-Man, the new animated series was like, came out after like the Raimi movie, at least the first Raimi movie.
Yeah, okay.
And, it was like early computer animation, like look how edgy this is. And it was just, I don't know. I feel like it probably doesn't hold up.
Oh,
Spectacular Spider-Man.
So I just looked up the new animated series.
Yeah.
Take a wild stab at who is Peter Parker.
I feel like I know this. Wait a second. It's Neil Patrick Harris.
Yes, Doogie Howser, MD himself.
Yes.
As well as Lisa Loeb as Mary Jane and
really?
Ian Ziering from 90210 as Harry Osborn.
Wow.
Yeah.
I remember Rob Zombie was the Lizard.
Wow,
that's the other thing
great.
that I remember on that show. Yeah. Spectacular Spider-Man.
Michael Clark Duncan was Wilson Fisk.
Reprised his role from the Daredevil movie.
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy.
There you go.
I didn't know that. But Spectacular Spider-Man, I've heard nothing but just wild acclaim for it. I'm very excited to be able to finally watch it. I hear it like kind of ropes in a lot of other like Marvel characters and just is one of the best representations of Spider-Man. I don't know. I'm really excited to watch this show finally it was a thing where I kept hearing about how great it was and I would keep going on streaming services or whether it was Netflix or Disney Plus or anywhere that had Spider-Man stuff, and it was never there. It was like always like Disney Plus has a bunch of Spider-Man animated stuff, but not this one until October. So I'm very excited to finally be able to watch this show that everyone
and
says
that
is
one,
incredible.
That one was kind of that same wheelhouse. So there was the early 90s animation that was like Batman and X-Men the animated series,
Yeah.
And at this time when that came out, it was like 2008, 2009-ish. Wolverine and the X-Men also came out, and it was like
Right.
that was the other animated one that everyone talks about. So it's like
Yeah.
you had these two booms because you even in the 90s you had the Spider-Man animated series that was good as well. So
Right.
it was like you had that, and then you had this, and it's like I never got around to watching this, so now I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm very excited to watch it finally. And speaking of Spider-Man again, kind of, probably really not speaking of Spider-Man at all, from what we know about the Sony Spider-Man universe,
Right.
Kraven the Hunter and the Madam Web movies have been pushed back, delayed. This is almost a nothing story because I didn't really know when they were coming out in general, but Kraven has moved from its January 2023 date, taking Madam Web's original date of October 6, 2023, and Madam Web then is moving to February 16th, 2024.
Yep.
The most surprising thing here for me is that Kraven was going to come out January 2023. Like, that means
Like in a couple months.
That means, yeah. Like, so they're... I mean, not anymore because it got moved to October, so it has another year. But I was like, wow, they thought this movie was going to be done already? Like,
well,
wow.
think of how many times we
Morbius
had to
got
remorb. Yeah.
So yeah, okay, then let's dive into that. Is this a move because it's bad, or is it a move because it's good?
Well,
I guess we don't know that.
October, neither January nor October are usually hot months for movies.
Well, October is way better than January, though.
It's
January
true.
is like where movies go to die.
Right. Which is funny because that's where Morbius originally was going to be.
Yeah, you're exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But is it a move to October because things are looking good and they want to give the team more time to like either do reshoots or spend more money
Polish
on
some
VFX,
things up,
polish some things up. Hopefully that's what it is. But the track record of Sony stuff so far, I don't know that that's what it is.
No, I mean they're making a movie that's trying to make Kraven an anti-hero, so I'm already at odds with most of what's happening.
Yep, me too. Don't care. I mean, right now I don't care about either of those movies. It's going to be until I see a trailer.
Yeah.
Before I care about any of them.
100%.
And from what I've heard about Madam Web, I think we talked about they're casting like someone as Uncle Ben or whatever. Like I don't
yeah, it was
Adam Scott.
Adam Scott, yeah.
Yeah. Who I like a lot,
my brain said Adam Scott, and then I said no, that's a golfer, and then realized that it's also Adam Scott.
Yeah, we will just see, I guess, what happens there. But anyway,
the Venn diagram of our listenership and knowing Adam Smith the golfer is probably not much of a circle.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, but anyway, those two movies that no one cares about are getting moved. So that's your big update there. And I think that's all. Is there anything else we need to talk about? She-Hulk's still great.
Yeah, She-Hulk is still great.
Still great.
Did I see the last one? Yes. Yeah.
Where she goes to get a fitting. Or
yep.
she Titania sues her for.
Right. Yeah, the whole lawsuit over using that they really they've been doing a damn good job with that show. Like I look forward to that half hour of television every week.
Dude, me too. It's way better than I expected it to be.
100%, yes.
And I was saying it to my wife because my wife loves it too, and we both really liked her and I, but also you and I really liked Ms. Marvel.
Yeah, yep.
And I think it really comes down to like these shows are personal. So they're about the main character struggling with having their powers or whatever, or dealing with them or getting them or something in some way. Like you make it a personal story and everyone's way more invested. Even She-Hulk, which is a comedy and a half-hour comedy at that.
Right.
There's not really any big fights or drama necessarily or anything. Or if there is drama, it's resolved more or less in 22 minutes or a half hour. But the fact that you're watching a character go through things that you can relate to or that are just like personal that draw you into that character is way better than just like a CGI fight for 30 minutes or whatever, like I don't know, like that's when these Marvel shows really shine, when they're less about like, oh, look at all this cool shit we can show you
right.
for VFX and look at all these cool powers. Like I don't care about your powers unless the character is intriguing and I'm invested in the actual character itself. Like that's when they are really crushing it, I feel like. And She-Hulk is really doing it for me.
Yeah, they're presenting that as well as, you could expect. Like it really the half-hour thing, it's funny because it feels like almost something that was like the late 90s, early 2000s, like half-hour weekly, you tune in, that's what you do. Like it's not there, like there's nowhere in pop culture anymore of that half hour outside of I don't know if NCIS or like all that sort of thing is still going on in
I mean,
that
it probably
format,
is, but I don't watch normal network shows anymore, so
exactly,
maybe it's still there. Yeah.
But yeah, they've done a great job of kind of reshaping and like keeping it in the style and in the vein, and it just feels different from the rest of everything else as well.
Yeah.
Which is a
Feels
breath of fresh air. So
yeah, absolutely.
The other thing, and we can't stop talking about She-Hulk without talking about what we saw at the end.
Oh yeah, Daredevil, right? Yeah.
The yellow and black is
helmet.
back.
Yeah, so we're probably going to get yellow, black, and red Daredevil in the next episode. Awesome. I'm excited about that.
Oh yeah.
Finally. I mean, we saw him for 2 seconds in Spider-Man No Way Home, but this will be the return of the masked man Daredevil, because we didn't even see him in that costume in season 3 of Daredevil.
No.
Because Bullseye was wearing it.
Yep.
So we saw he was back to the Man in Black in season 3, which is fine, great, but give me that costume, man. I want to see Daredevil with your costume on.
And this will be the second iteration after the Man in Black in the comics. So.
Oh, is that canonically the second one?
Yeah, I think so. I think that was I think it was his. Originally it was the black, and then his first suit was this suit.
Right. Yes. Okay.
So. Yep.
Yes. Yep. All right. Cool, man. Yeah, I'm excited for next week, for sure. Also, while we're talking about shows, I gotta say. Oh,
you know what? We do have to drop that with Andor too, because that's also Thursday.
Wow. Yeah, you're right. God damn it.
Dude, like I almost feel like I've got to take a day off of work just to catch up on shows.
Oh man, I think I might have to.
Oh god.
But real quick, speaking of shows, I just also this week I watched the season 3 finale of the Harley Quinn animated show, and god damn, I love that show so much. It's so funny, it's so good, it's so violent, it's so unpredictable.
Nice.
It's just excellent. Highly recommend Harley Quinn for anyone that's looking for some adult animation hilarity. It will not let you down. Very, very funny.
There you go.
But other than that, I think that's all I got to say.
Yeah, I'd say so.
All right, cool.
Yeah, if anybody wants to check us out, thank you guys all for watching in the chat and whatnot. Follow us on Twitch. Feel free to subscribe and follow us on YouTube. Same thing with your podcatchers of choice. The Multiverse Report at gmail.com, themultiverseport.com, Multiverse RPT on Twitter, Multiverse Report on whatever other socials you feel like finding us. And I think that wraps her.
Yeah, thank you so much to all your new followers. We got a couple new followers this week. Appreciate you very much for listening and watching and all that stuff. And we'll be back next week with talking about Andor, at least, maybe House of the Dragon. Who knows? We'll figure it out. But until then, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in the multiverse.